Hi, Dawn here for Dawn Ross Therapeutic Yoga, this month's movement moment. So as we head into summer holidays, most of us will be faced with a car ride or car trip or plane trip at some point in the next few months to get from where we are to where we are going to enjoy some R&R. And one of the things that I love to do once I arrive at my destination and get out of the car to just find my feet and legs and the earth again is using one of these little tennis balls. So what I'm going to share with you today is just a few things that you can do to help wake up your feet and your legs after you've been sitting for a while. So even if you're not in a car ride but you've got ashwaka meetings that you're sitting in, or even at the year-end performances. And I know our school, we did a talent show, and I think there were more kids in the talent show than not in the talent show. So when you're having to sit for a long time and you're not used to that, it can be kind of hard on the body. So grab a tennis ball. You're going to need some wall space, and let's get moving. So what I'll have you do is come on up to standing if you're sitting down, and you're going to start by taking the tennis ball, and you can just use the wall for support, and leaving the heel on the floor. You're just going to kind of move it around and windshield wipe the ball of the foot, the underside of the toes on the tennis ball. And if doing that you have to grip or lean over onto that standing leg quite a bit, I encourage you to do the same thing, but you'll be seated in a chair. So you want to have enough stability in that standing leg and pelvis that you can do this without creating pain on that standing side or bracing with your shoulders or holding your breath. So you're just windshield wiping the toes back and forth and the heels resting on the floor. What I'm going to have you do is actually lift the foot up, and you're just going to do some circles on the ball of the foot. And when I'm not using a ton of pressure, I feel my foot on the tennis ball, but I'm not kind of getting in there and working it really hard. Now I'm going to bring the heel back on the floor, but actually start to shift my weight, and with the tennis ball at the front of the arch of the foot where it meets the ball of the foot, that's where our kidney pressure point is. So just putting a little pressure into the tennis ball there, and again, not to the point where you're not able to breathe, but we're just feeling some pressure there. Then I'm going to come up and just forward and back across that arch. Oh, I love me tennis balls. And then on the heel of the foot. So if you're joining me for my online summer class, I'll be filming as much of it outside as I can. Today I would have been outside, but the rain forced me to film in my hallway today. And then you're going to let that go. Just come to standing before you go to the other side. Take a second and notice the difference side to side. So where the weight is in the feet. I always like to look at the feet once I roll them, because there's no doubt about it, after you roll and work the one foot, it looks younger. There's more circulation, more vibrancy to it. And then we're going to do the other foot. So start with the heel on the floor, and then we're just rolling across the underside of those toes. Windshield wiping that leg. You can use the wall for balance if you need to, or again, if this is causing that standing leg to grip or you to hold your breath, you're going to sit down and do this in a chair. And then I'm just doing some figure eights across on the ball of the foot. Bringing it right to where the ball of the foot and the arch meet, and then bringing some weight so the back heel kind of lifts up and you press down onto that tennis ball. It's as if you could squish it between. So my tennis balls have a bit of give to them. If you're using a ball that's quite hard, then just be really aware of how much pressure you're putting in. You don't want the breath to stop, or there to be a sense of kind of gasping from the tissues. And then we're going to go up and down that arch of the foot. We definitely want to have the tissues that we're rolling and the rest of the body feeling receptive. So there's nothing to breathe through or work through. We're definitely staying in a range where there's a sense of receptivity of our nervous system to what we're doing. I err on the side of pleasure, not pain. We're going to come to the ball of the foot, do some circles there. Come on off. So I'm standing for a second and again, notice. Okay? Great. Now what I'm going to have you do is, in standing, kind of feel where your weight is in your feet and how much weight is left to right. And then you're going to lift your toes up. And lower your toes. So when you lift your toes, just notice, do your quads grab on, do your kneecaps lift up? Does your breath stop or hold momentarily? See if you can lift the toes without the extra effort. Do you have to actually lean back in order to lift the toes? Because all of our joints have muscles which have nerves to them, which our brain communicates with those nerves and tells the muscle to engage. So we don't want to have extra muscles engaging, and we definitely want to be able to have a clear pathway to those muscles we do want to engage via the brain sending the message to the nerves to lift the toes. So again, just find the range that the toes can lift, that the breath stays easy, that you don't feel your quads grip on or your knees lift up. Okay, and then we're going to bring the toes to the floor. We're going to lift up onto the balls of our feet. So the heels actually lift up. And if you need a wall for balance or a counter, you can use that. So with the heels up, then once the heels are up, without lowering them, just allow there to be a sense of the back of the body lengthening, so that there's some weight through the heels, although the heels are lifted. When I first started doing this, I would sort of imagine that warm water was running over the back of my skull and down my shoulders and back, buttocks, back of my legs, down my calves and off my heels, to allow that extra effort or tension and shortening that came to the back line that doesn't need to be there to let go. Then you're going to bring the heels back down and then lift the toes again. Okay, and then we're going to come back up onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels again. Find what needs to help you lift the heels, or what needs to engage to lift the heels, but not all the extra stuff. So the muscles of the anus don't need to get tight. We don't need to lift up through the shoulders or hold the breath. And that sense of length through the back body here. Okay, and then one more time we're going to lift the toes. And then come up onto the toes and the balls of the feet. You can just notice the difference between how you're able to find that place of just enough between the first few times you did this and this time. And then we're going to lower the heels. And then you're going to stand. Now this door opens away from me, so I'm hoping that it will stay closed. But, so you're going to stand facing a wall, preferably not a door, but the way my hallway is, I'm at a door. And you're going to be a few feet away from it. And just feeling your weight in your feet and your legs, you're going to bring your hands up and allow yourself to fall forward to that wall. So the heels will come up off, and then you'll bring yourself back. So be close enough to the wall that you can allow that sense of free fall without there being a fear response and the breath holding. And as you fall forward and then bring yourself back. I want you to just notice the belly and the tissue at the front of the hip creases and that crosses the front of the pelvis. So this is just working with that psoas muscle to kind of awaken and re-aliven it after being in a sitting position for a while. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want to have there be a break at the low back. So it's not that the abdominals, we're holding them tight at all, we're just breathing, but you want to come closer to the wall. If wherever you are, as you're doing your fall, free fall motion, if there's a disconnect or a sway happening through the spine. So you're definitely feeling your legs and your feet on the floor, and you're feeling how the weight shifts through the legs as you come to the door. And you want to be close enough again that there isn't a sense of needing to hold the breath or do any pre-engagement. Just let the body respond as it does to that sense of falling. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Good, and you're going to come to standing, and just notice how you feel in standing. So I feel much more connected through my feet and my legs. I feel my pelvis on my legs, and my upper body just feels a little bit more relaxed. So those are a couple of things that you can play with after a period of sitting to just reconnect the feet, legs, and pelvis, as well as the upper and lower body. So have fun with those. And if you're curious and you'd like to come on holidays with me this summer and receive weekly for 6 weeks starting July 6th, a video clip from me with a 35 to 45 minute practice that you can do anywhere and that are yours to keep, send me a message and I'll let you know how you can sign up for class. Thanks so much for joining me. Namaste.